And so we have reached the OU Tennessee trash talking portion of the schedule. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, we have reached the OU Tennessee trash talking portion of our schedule. Now, primarily this trash talk is taking place on the Twitters, and it will take place on the interwebs as we get closer to September, and what we hope is college football starting on time. That said, I thought it was interesting that Tennessee fans have been chirping back at OU fans and OU media, talking all kinds of nonsense because they got a top 3 recruiting class in May. And I've covered it, right? They got 2 5-stars in there. Dylan Brooks is great. Terrence Lewis is great. They picked up Julian Nixon. They're going to be pretty good in the coming years. But they've also got some things they got to overcome on the football field itself, right? Now, again, recruiting is a great predictor of future success. But in this case, future success is 2-3 years away at a minimum. Right now, you still got to go against an Oklahoma team that you frankly haven't beaten since 1939. Shout out to that 1939 Orange Bowl game because that was the first bowl game between the two, and it was fittingly pretty good. At the time, OU had given up just 12 points all season. Both were 10-0. Bob Nalen, former Brigadier General, goes in there, gets a 17-0 win, and that is the last time you've ever heard of Rocky Top over Oklahoma. Now, the last time that Oklahoma and Rocky Top played, well, we got Sterling Shepard diamond in the end zone. We got Butch Jones telling Eric Stryker to have some class about it, even though he's holding this L. I find it real interesting that Tennessee fans think that they can talk when they have a rivalry that's ongoing with Alabama where they haven't won a game in it since 2006. The iPhone wasn't invented the last time that Tennessee beat Alabama. MySpace was dwarfing Facebook. Many of these kids don't even know what MySpace is, right? Twitter, barely even thought of. Was it actually on the map? So many things have changed, and yet Alabama stays throwing these L's at Tennessee. Now, while Alabama got a win over Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl in 2018, also Oklahoma is got that Sugar Bowl win over Nick Saban's Alabama in 2013, with perhaps the worst quarterback to ever start at Oklahoma in the past 10 years, and Trevor Knight, who went for over 300 yards, and Sterling Shepard showed out, and that was the game for which Amari Cooper stood up and said Aaron Colvin is the best corner he ever faced. So there's that, right? But it's also interesting because Tennessee ought to be pretty good this year. They haven't lost since October, so they're riding a winning streak into what we hope is the premier non-conference game on the schedule for both of these teams. With Jeremy Pruitt defense coming into vogue, he returns 2 running backs in Ty Chandler and Eric Gray, who have rushed for about 5 yards per carry last year. And they got a pretty doggone good offensive line with at least 1 first-round draft pick on it. Say nothing to Cade Mays and whether or not he's going to be eligible, but even if he's not, his brother's already there. And Jeremy Pruitt is still quietly pursuing Zach Evans, who could be on campus, right, in Knoxville in time for this clash, which means they would have a 5-star tailback to add to that, even with his little bit of baggage. But I think it's funny, right, because everybody feels good when their recruiting class is good, and everybody feels good in May, right? And as much as I kind of want to let this play out, it's everything that I wanted, because quite honestly, if this is where we're at, if this is how people feel, it means that people feel optimistic about football. And this is a time during a pandemic that we would love to feel optimistic about something. And rather than get into the X's and O's of this thing, I mean, I could say Spencer Rattler going at your secondary is probably going to be a bad deal. Theo Weiss might just charge through the middle of it. And then you have to worry about Jalen Redmond and LaRon Stokes destroying you up the middle. Say nothing to Deshaun White, who is the most instinctual linebacker that Brian Odom has ever coached. And he just put Kenneth Murray Jr. into the first round of the NFL draft, to which I would add, who the hell has Tennessee put in the NFL draft here of late? Sorry? Who? Huh? I can't. Let me see. OU had 1, 2, 3, 4 draft picks in the first 3 rounds. Tennessee had 0, man. Sit down. Y'all don't even produce. Juwan Jennings, what are you talking about? That's it. That's all. Eric Berry got to go back some years. You know what I mean? That man has since fought cancer and won. That's how long ago it was. All right? Like, you got your checkers on. And y'all keep saying you want Bama, Bama keep thumping you. And now you're saying you want Oklahoma. Look, just because Clemson can get over, LSU can get over, Alabama can get over, don't mean that you ain't getting over on Oklahoma. Nah, You got to be winning at least 10 games a season to call yourself competition for the OU Sooners, right? Shout out to Texas Christian, by the way, because they finished number 1 in the AP poll that same year that Tennessee went, undefeated with a win over a very good Oklahoma team. I just think this is it's washed. Like Tennessee's so washed right now that the only thing we can say good about what Jeremy Pruitt's done is that he at least doesn't look as bad as Matt Rule on the sideline, even though he's wearing a dentist smock and he is just dragging Jared Guarantano's face around. Also, I really want to throw Harrison Bailey out there. I really want that to happen. Please make that happen. It ain't going to go well, right? Joseph Wette returns at edge. Nick Bonito returns at edge. David Uwebu returns at edge. Trey Brown out on the outside. Who you got that's going to go up against him? Who? And forget Nayland. You got to come to Owen Field. Good luck. You're not Ohio State. And even then, last time the Oklahoma and Ohio State played, Ohio State is holding the cell, right? Baker Mayfield's planting the flag. Matter of fact, I got it right there on the wall, right there. Baker Mayfield planting the flag. What do you think is going to happen to you, Tennessee? How do you think this is going to go over? Y'all are so soft that you let Derek Dooley sit on a stool on the sideline. So soft that Lane Kiffin got run out of town, man. So soft that you could have had Mike Leach. You could have brought air raid hell to the SEC. Instead, you let Mississippi State do that. You ran off Greg Schiano, right? And all you did was turn Rutgers into something worth mentioning when Rutgers has never been worth mentioning. And now you got Jeremy Pruitt. I just don't see it after Butch Jones. Matter of fact, what do y'all keep doing with Alabama sloppy seconds? You know what? Alabama took Lane Kiffin. Alabama took in Butch Jones. Alabama took in Jeremy Pruitt. And yet and still, all y'all want to do is go back to the Alabama well. I thought Rocky Top stood for something. I thought the Knoxville was about something. I thought that gaudy orange was about something. Apparently not. So anyway, if you got stuff that you want to say and you want to get it into the comments, go ahead. I dare you. Deuces.